studies, forecasting models predicted that the current steep funding cuts could result in more than 14 million deaths by 2030. The uncertainty interval is 8 million to 19 million, with best estimate of 14 million additional all-age deaths, which would include 4 million children younger than age of 5, again, by 2030. And they go program by program. Like most of this is, let me quickly go through the programs: HIV/AIDS, malaria, neglected tropical diseases, tuberculosis, nutritional deficiencies, diarrhea diseases, lower respiratory infection, and maternal and perinatal conditions. And I think it's also, the forecast also includes vaccination, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
It's tying to the inability of the, not the liberals, but the left also to not defend USA. Like I was with the USA, being implicated, rightfully sometimes, right, through the history of the United States in foreign influence efforts.
Well, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good.
What happened, Hurricane?
Emperor Philip the Arab. Sorry, I was trying to figure out if I want to call you Emperor or Philip the Arab, as we've been saying, because it's funny and you're okay with the joke.
It's still the same. It's the Emperor Philip the Arab.
But yeah, he shared a link to an article that's evaluating the impact of 2 decades of USAID interventions and what's likely to happen because of the administration's efforts to defund USAID.
Yeah, and this is 80% of USAID programs have already been cut. So some of this is already baked in, assuming that, I think the article assumed the rest of it will also go away in line with announcements from Trump administration. But 80% is gone already.
Are we talking about the article from the British medical journal, The Lancet?
Yes, put it in the link, evaluating the impact of 2 decades of USAID interventions, projecting the effects of defunding on mortality up to 2030.
Is AID being cut or are certain programs being cut?
Well, effectively, USAID has been disbanded. Its functions, from what I understand, have been assumed by the State Department, and 80% of the all program funding has already been cut with announcement that basically all of it, the rest of the 20% will be cut.
So some programs have been cut then, to be accurate about my question.
Yes. I guess the word would be not some, but overwhelming majority of the programs have been cut already. But
So AID has not been cut, if that was the question. And do you know if the programs mentioned in your article will be or have been cut?
Uh, yes.
Okay. Which ones will be cut of the ones you list?
The paper is not in front of me at the moment, but you can open and it
I'm looking
mentions
at
that
it.
there is a
I'm looking at
table.
it.
There is a table, if I remember correctly, for each of those.
Just reading about humanitarian aid groups. As I recall, the problem was the political agenda that seemed to be smuggled in with some of these programs. They mentioned obviously some very kooky ones.
Rhetorically, sure, but effectively, they're cutting quite politics neutral stuff.
So I see some malaria impact. I see food program. We don't know if the food programs and malaria programs are being cut. I mean, the stuff that I saw listed was very kooky among the cuts. Obviously, they did that for dramatic effect. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I had to come on stage because I am about to crash. We do know which programs have been cut. We do know malaria prevention. We do know about HIV and AIDS prevention and treatment. We do know about food programs. This is very basic stuff. Over the past, how many months has it been? 6 months. What's going on? We're not reading the news. We gotta read the news. Everybody clock in. Get on your Zoom.
So, where's the fatal malaria program?
Okay, so I opened the paper because I guess high level of USAID fundings were associated with 15% reduction in old age all-cause mortality, with 65% reduction in mortality. 51 substantial decreases are. 1 second, I lost the spot. Shit, sorry, I'll find.
Kimberly, you said it was published that the malaria program was being cut someplace?
I believe that's what she said.
Yes, so malaria program has been cut significantly in 2025. There was a funding freeze, there was a limited waiver, and by June 2025, about 36% of US aid malaria funding had been cut, and 80% of malaria-related awards were terminated. In some countries like Malawi, up to 64% of USAID funding across all programs were
Partially cut.
Well, we already agreed on partially. Currently, right, 80% of all funding is cut. That 80% funding cut is distributed across probably different programs. I don't think we have full access to what money remains in which program. So, yes.
My question. Do we know if the malaria program was cut?
So I have put in the chat a press release from an organization called Malaria No More. On February 27, 2025, they released this press release with the title, Malaria No More, Statement on the Administration's Termination of USAID Malaria Programs. they issued the following statement. The government canceled contracts for 90% of USAID's work, leaving critical bilateral malaria assistance on the cutting room floor. They go on to say halting the U.S. programs that prevent and treat malaria will lead to outbreaks and an exponential increase in deaths. The decisions made yesterday mean that even if the U.S. were to resume any life-saving malaria work, these programs would face disruptions for at least a year.
Good faith, it says. Not would faith. Good faith. Keep going.
Sorry?
What is your, wait, I'm sorry. What was the point of that interjection?
You said would face, you read it wrong. It's could face.
Oh,
Okay, so the
okay. Does that, okay, I'm sorry if I, misspoke. Does that meaningfully,
Yes.
change the answer to your question? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Norm. I was answering your question about whether or not there had been cuts to malaria prevention programs. Does the changing of that letter change the answer to your question?
My question was, have they been cut? And the answer is
And based on what I just read, what do you think the answer to that question is?
partially, as we've already established.
90% is
90%.
we understand the word partially. What are you trying to do?
Trying to be clear.
Everybody is clear. You don't need to be clear more than we are
It's not
clear.
based on this conversation. So you said 90% of the malaria programs were cut, but it says here that 90% of USAID contracts were cut.
I said 80% of USAID contracts were cut. That is public information, not could be cut.
Right.
Cut.
Right.
That satisfies the definition partially.
I'm collecting the
Specifically with the, I was still speaking, specifically with the malaria program, according to the link that Kimberly provided, 90% of malaria-related USAID funding is cut, not could be cut, but cut, right? That also satisfies the definition partially. We all understand what the word partially means.
You're not reading the document, Philip.
Okay,
You're not reading
what
the
is an
document.
acceptable level of cut to malaria prevention for you, Norm?
I'd have to see what they're spending their money on, obviously. I can't discuss a budget for something that I haven't seen. That would be ignorance.
Okay, to switch the topic, maybe back to the brother.
No, I was gonna say, Norm, whatever point you wanted to make, you've made that.
Yeah.
Can they continue in the conversation?
So I just corrected, somebody said what the impact would be. I'm answering your question.
No,
And
so
I
asked you
corrected,
before, yes.
you're talking
No,
over me again. I'm trying to get one sentence out.
Yeah, let me help you out. Okay. So now I'll talk over you forever. Alright, y'all can continue with the conversation. So how about that? Since you couldn't shut the fuck up and let me talk, now you don't get to speak at all.
Yeah, he has that problem. He does it often.
Continue.
Thank you. I don't know where we are. The biggest takeaway from that, because this is second type of engagement with also another person, doesn't matter who, when like this was discussed yesterday in the room. It's forecast, so it's all good. Like we understand that we know what forecasts are, right? Like our best effort estimates of an impact of a program. It hasn't happened. We'll understand it. We understand that 80% is partial, right? To 100%. Anyway, but what happened to like people are desensitized to this type of bureaucratic number crunching and the impact of it. It's a little insane.
jobs report. Would you like to do so? You can come up. I haven't looked at it because I'm looking at other things. So if you want to chat about it, you're welcome to come up. Okay. Yeah, we're just trying to have a chill day. Some of us are doing some media stuff that we don't want to do but must do, and are using this for background and for temporary distractions. So we're not trying to fight for the microphone. We're not trying to argue with people unnecessarily. We're just trying to have an adult conversation. That's it. So
Hold on, no. He,
So then the chick that I told
I
you,
don't understand why people are so hard on him.
the chick that I told you that's married to the African, she's like, that's not even your daughter. You adopted her. That's not your daughter. She's not black. So that's why she don't get treated no type of way, because she don't have any black in her. I was like, oh my God, yeah, it's crazy.
But
Is everybody?
so let me ask y'all. So why, I'm curious for the prosecution. Why didn't they bring KK in? Why?
I don't know.
I don't get that.
I think KK and the security would have sealed that Rico.
Me too.
Yep. But I don't know. I don't know what the Southern District. I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to charge her separately. I don't know. Maybe she's in Bali with Russell Simmons and they couldn't find her. I don't know.
Oh, Paul. Okay, y'all, here. Okay, I got this just so that y'all can understand, because y'all think that I'm crazy.
Oh, you about to talk about the Cialis?
Yes. I was like I knew I read it. So it's Paul who detailed the Wild Pink Nights. It says former assistant Brendan Paul, who worked for Sean Combs from late 2022 until his arrest in 2024, recalled procuring drugs for Combs from drug dealers known as Guido, One Stop, Baby Girl, and Ovi. He referred to hard drugs as Gucci items, which he would put into a Gucci pouch that Combs kept in a backpack or on his person. Is it for you or Puff? Baby Girl said in a message. Puff, but please don't disclose it. You can say it's for me. Paul responded in a message. Paul testified Combs used Cialis and once asked him to get Xanax. So that's just the summary. But if I find the transcript, I'll find it exactly, because I knew I read it.
Yeah, so his BP's not working. That's why he was getting the younger men to work his women.
Yeah, it's like, building head. And then also, I know.
And it's not that it's not working, but
It just, he
remember, he wanted to do freak offs for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days.
Exactly.
And at that point, his thing is not working for that long.
Exactly. I mean, also, these people are crazy as hell.
You know, if you put your hand like this, his PP pop, you see the way your you see, if you look at everybody look at your hand right now. If you see the way your pinky looks, that's probably as high as his BP's getting right now. So he needs the pill so he could get it'll maybe like the middle finger. But everybody's gonna feel like this freaking well. You know they say that to the men on the stage. Let me fuck with y'all real quick. They say when you're 20, it stands up like your thumb. When you're 30, it stands up like the next finger, 40, 50, and 60. So technically, he's leading to that pinky. He's actually, he's 56, so. So, guys, get your health right.
Girls seem to take some delight and fascination and curiosity in this, but for me, things have only gotten better and better and better. It's sort of an inside game.
That's what he said. Let me see your medicine cabinet.
Yeah, you can see my medicine.
This pulls down the testosterone and cortisol levels. It's not rocket science.
Shit. Let me see that medicine cabinet, the meds you're taking, your heart medication, How old are you, Normal? I don't know. They say the men of today, even the 30-year-olds, are having a problem. So.
I think
Diet
between
related.
their ears. I think
No, it's because they keep
their
taking the
ears.
gasoline pills.
What's a gasoline pill? Like,
The pills that they sell at the gas station.
At the gas station.
no, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's what they're saying about the young people. That's why they're having problems now.
Like energy pills or erection?
No, it's like, one is like a goat something. They're like different pills that they sell there. Blue Chewy, another one. I don't know. I'll be seeing them at the gas station. And that's what they're saying, that the young people are starting that so young, in their 20s. I'm like, damn, they're already doing that shit in their 20s? What the fuck? That's crazy.
Everybody, here is the link that I'm putting in the chat so that y'all can have it of Diddy using Cialis, so that y'all think I've been making it up. Okay.
Copy and paste the link just in case y'all need to use it for another room when y'all mention it.
Right, exactly. And you definitely want to use it for another room, so grab that.
He's taking
I
other
need that for new
drugs.
facts room, because you know all the men, all the men think they Hulk in the bedroom.
I am crying.
I got no problem.
You think girls want a Hulk?
Nah, I said the men are acting like they're Hulks.
It seems like the time women want in the bedroom goes over with age too, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't even understand how. I mean, I guess it's drugs, but like sex for hours upon hours. You are out of your mind. Like what? Like we gotta go to bed. We gotta go to sleep. I just. Oh my God.
That's how it's fun when you were in college, but
not even in college. I gotta study and I gotta go to sleep. Like hours.
After finals.
No, but I'm for real. Hours, plural, like hours. That is deep to me.
When you grow, we're like, man, look, goddamn shit.
It is so packed outside that courthouse.
What'd you say?
No, I was saying it is crowded outside the courthouse because everybody's hoping that he gets bail so they can get the first shot of his face. But they're gonna get him with gray hairs because he wasn't able to dye his hair.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Listen,
He'll dye it tonight when he gets home.
No, listen, what he should be doing in between that time is getting some black dye from somebody and dye his hair. That's what he needs to be doing. He needs to be like, okay, yeah, that's what he needs.
And that's like the shot of, that's a very important shot when he walks out of here, because
it is.
to see him like that is like, damn, that federal place had you stressed.
How you know they didn't bring the dye?
Nah, they can't. That's why he hasn't had dye in 8 months, because they said they don't allow
But
that.
you said he's walking out, right?
No, we don't know yet.
Oh, okay. If
He's
walking
asking for
out-
bail.
If he's walking out, I'd be shocked if he didn't get
Well, we'll
up in
see.
the bathroom. Yeah. That wouldn't make any
put
sense to me.
or put on a hat or something, right? Like something. You got to do something because I don't. Like just for his image alone.
Nah, I think he's gonna be just smell that dirty pollution. He's
New York air.
Yeah, he is very vain now. I'm surprised you're saying this.
He is vain CEO. Yeah. But
he needs.
She's right though.
But he's just happy to come. If they let him out, he's just happy to walk out for now.
Yeah.
You know, I can see the theme music of this is like, what's that blues song? The Thrill Is Gone. The Thrill Is Gone. Remember? Where you guys don't know. Never mind.
I know.
I think what
Should have played it for us.
That is his walkout music. That is his walkout music. It's like a blues song. It's like The Thrill Is Gone. You know? You don't remember that? The Thrill Is Gone. I can't sing.
That BB King, maybe? Thrill Is Gone away.
Maybe it
from
was
me.
BB King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's over
I'm
now.
gonna get that black can and that black spray in the can. That's for sure.
I don't think he has ever let the grades come out this much in his life. He usually has that dye on a weekly or monthly basis.
Yep.
And he got a few bags of his eye too. That's how they painted him, at least.
Yeah. I was cracking up when he told the cartoon artist
They were.
to please stop making him look like a koala. I and she said she went back and looked at her artwork and she said she could see what he means. So
Yeah.
she did change it up. If she had followed Twitter from day one, she would have known people were ripping on her renderings from day one because they looked a mess.
His ass over here worried about how his painting looks too.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
So
All right, who's next? Who's next on the docket?
Tyler Perry. No, well,
No,
well
we
on
still
the
got-
docket. On the docket is the Drake. If y'all,
So I think Chris Brown settled his case with the guy that he hit over the head with the Don Julio bottle.
Oh, okay.
I believe he settled that. We still got Fat Joe, Tyler Perry.
What did Fat Joe do?
I don't know all the charges, but I know that one was a minor.
Ayan has a room called Carisha Speaks. I don't want to go to his room, but let's find what Carisha says.
Hold on, let's see. Let me go on my other phone.
basically, while they're setting it up, Fat Joe, there's something about either his security guard or something. He kind of forced him to have sex act or something like that. But it was like one person. It's allegedly like one person. It's not like P Diddy where it was like multiple.
Wait, yeah, it's just one.
There's no charges, right? Right? There's no charges.
It's his former hype. It's his former hype man, and he filed a civil suit and said that Fat Joe had a consistent relationship starting with the 15-year-old from the Dominican Republic, and he used to fly her around like all over the place and stuff. So that's one of the charges.
Yeah, and once again, how I said before, I don't know if you guys was here before when we were speaking on Fat Joe. I would not be surprised that he was dealing with a minor. Not that it's okay, but the men in the 90s were dealing with minors. And that's what it is.
Now, was this Joey Crack Fat Joe, or was this Fat Joe Fat Joe?
I don't know what year was this, but...
Because I liked him when he was Joey Crack. His shit was banging then.
I feel like they saying this shit when he was chunky.
People getting with minors in DR is still a thing.
Correct.
It's actually still a thing. And so
no, but what I'm saying, no, you're not listening to me. This young lady is not from DR. Okay. He just brought her over there to do BBLs and stuff, do her body. She's what I'm saying is in the 90s in the United States of Americana, that's what those men were doing. That's what I'm saying. So I believe that can be true. That charge.
Yeah, he got a song with R. Kelly.
And it's like when we used to see all the guys outside of our high schools. So that's what I'm saying. That was a 90s thing. Very popular. Very known. All right, I'm going to Ayan's room. Let's see what's going on over there.
And it still happens kind of today, but I think these young people today are not really with the shit that we were down for in the 90s.
Now you want to write a book because of it?
Oh, God.
Ayan's on the stage.
You really taking that ran through bitch to some down? Touch them down?
I don't hear nobody. He's talking to. I don't know if he's reading something. I don't know.
Asian girl Gina. Another one who is Diddy's victims. Came to attack Carisha. Just because Carisha responded, now she's the victim. Now Asian girl is the victim. And
Dr. Goddess, see if Carisha mentioned anything on Twitter.
I would rather be a paid, I would rather be a paid villain than a paid fucking victim. Period.
All right, I'm gonna load this because it sounds like he's just reading off of like comments that they probably leaving under Carisha's post.
Young Miami. Young Miami. Is this her? Let me see.
Yeah, because he's by himself on stage, and I don't hear no woman in the back.
Sit here from the black girl. I'm scared. Get the fuck out of here. Shout out to the hoe.
Mel, what does 1111 mean to Young Miami?
It'll be
I don't know.
11.
She's putting all this cryptic stuff in there. And today she put 1111 and 4 hearts.
11/11 is part of the day they got together.
Oh, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so she at 1111 she wrote God please and then put a clear heart.
Yeah, she was probably praying that he comes out.
Exactly. And then at 1111 she put 4 big hearts. Okay. And then one day ago she wrote my love for you went deep, and it's all caps and deep. So there you
Yeah,
go.
remember she didn't speak. She spoke highly of him. She did 2 podcasts, one with him, one with Saucy Santana.
Yeah.
And she never said anything negative about him. Yes, it was still fresh, but that's why, as much as I felt that she would deal with him again. Me personally.
Yeah. And she was still in the love bombing phase with him, so I don't think he introduced her to a freak off. Lord have mercy.
Speak. B, go ahead, B.
Yeah, I know B's been up on.
Thank you guys. Actually, I'm gonna say the kid. Obviously.
Just chaos, and it's a lot of allegations, and so I think that's what makes people feel like, well, since you were so heavily involved, you were a part of these things, or you were around these things. So, what was your experience like? You